Look, I disappeared, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Is it back on?
Yeah, it's on. Sorry about that. Is everyone there? Hare Krishna?
You're live again.
Okay, sorry about that. I don't know how long we were off, but Sudevi has a backup now. She can see what's going on. Please forgive us for that. Sudevi's not here today.
Yeah, he wrote, "You're gone, come back."
How long have we been gone?
I don't know how long we've been gone, but we just finished Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande.
Okay, now we're going to do Radhe Jai Jai Madhava Daite.
Please forgive us. We don't have an extra phone right now, so I wasn't able to tell. Radhe Radhe.
The perils of modern electronics.
Okay, we're back. Jaya Radhe, page 341, sorry, 341, Radhe Jai Jai Madhava Daite. And I should have the Mridanga too. We have 7 people with us.
7. Jaya Radhe Jayo Jayo Madhava Daite.
Prabhu says we were off for a long time.
Sorry about that. Please forgive us.
Subi's not here today, so we don't have the extra phone to see what's happening.
Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
गिरिराज महाराज की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
So I think we were gone when the electricity went out. I think the whole thing went out for all that time.
Wow.
Because even Devaki Didi is saying we went for a long time. So if the electricity goes out, just make sure you have to put it on cellular or something.
I'll check it. You just check the electricity on this, if I have enough power. Only 24. Okay. Check. गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीमद् भक्तिवेदान्त नारायण नित्यनामिने। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नित्यनामिने। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हुकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्। First of all, I am offering my Dandava pranams thousands of times into the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, Astottara Srimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta, Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And the same thousands of Dandava pranam into the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, Astottara Srimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all those who are present with us today still, my Dandava Pranam. So we are continuing today with Going Beyond Vaikuntha. Going Beyond Vaikuntha is a compilation of a series of lectures from our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, full of bhav, full of transcendental emotion, and also full of rasa, speaking on Sri Sanatan Goswami Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita, the foundation or the source of all of the other books of our Goswamis. So before entering into this book, we will pray to Sri Sanatan Goswamipada in the words of Raghunath Das Goswami. Vairag Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatnay Apayana Mam Anubhipshamandam Kripam Budirya Padaduk Duki Sanatanaspam Prabhum Ashrayami. Begging in the dust of the lotus feet of our Gurudev, the commentator, and Sri Sanatan Goswamipada, the original composer, compiler, that may even a particle of their moods, which are present within these pages, manifest within our hearts. Srila Gurudev, he had told Shamrani Didi that we should never just pick up a book and enter into a book. That actually these books are the manifestations of the hearts of our Gurudev, our Guru Varga, our Goswamis. They're not any ordinary literatures. So instead of just picking them up and entering in, first we should pray to them that actually you are not a book. You are the manifestation of the heart of this great personality. You are non-different from Sri Sanatan Goswamipada. You are non-different from my Gurudev. O Gurudev, O Sanatan Goswamipada, please be merciful to me and allow any part of your moods to enter my heart. If we approach from that kind of perspective, then instead of thinking I am the doer, then we will be on the receiving end of mercy. And that is really our process. The mercy must come, and we must hold on. We must also make that endeavor. So we just finished chapter 4, which was entitled The Moods of Intimacy and Sweetness. And now we're coming to chapter 5, which is Bhagavan's incarnations are one. Believe it or not, we're on page 57. So we're making rapid progress here. By the time lockdown ends, which might be in a while, maybe a year from now, we might actually get to the end of this small book. And that would be on page 164. So we're about 1/3 of the way there? No, quarter of the way there. So yesterday, or the day before, Srila Gurudev was talking about the difference of Krishna in Dwarka versus Krishna in Vrindavan. In Dwarka, Krishna has manifested himself, expanded himself into 16,108 separate forms, and he is in each palace with each queen as a separate personality. Each one of these Kaya Vyuha Rups, or the manifestation of his form, are performing different activities. Some are eating, some are watching dancing, some are with their wives, some are doing yagyas, some are serving the Brahmins, so each one is doing something different. In this world, if anyone attains to Siddhi, there is one Siddhi which can allow you to expand yourself into many forms. Like Shrobari Rishi, he was able to expand into 50 forms. That means he was a very powerful yogi. Most yogis cannot do so many forms. The problem with the jivas, Kaya Vyuha Rup, is that our Kaya Vyuha Rup is not like Krishna's, where each one is independent. The jivas is a facsimile. Facsimile means an exact duplicate. So when the original raises his hand or yawns, all of the others do that as well, which is kind of annoying. I don't know why anyone would want that. But anyhow, that is how a jiva who attains to that siddhi will manifest their multiplicity. Whereas Krishna, when he manifests himself, he has unlimited transcendental forms. Unlimited. Literally. There's no way to count them. And each one is, although part of the original, they are also complete in their own right. And they are not defined by exactly what the original one is doing. Meaning they are able to do their own separate individual tasks. And this is proven by the verse, in the very first verse of Sri Ishopanishad. Om Purnam Adap Purnamidam Purnat Purnamidachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. That the Supreme Lord is complete in himself, and even if he manifests himself unlimitedly, his own shvangsha, his own forms, his own expansions or avatars are also individually complete in themselves. And even if he expands himself unlimitedly, he never loses any part of himself. So now, then Srila Gurudev explained that in Vrindavan, when Krishna was performing the Rasa Lila, from the perspective of those personalities who know that Krishna is God, that is not the Brajavasis, that would be Mathuravasis and Dwarkavasis, including Maharaj Parikshit, Arjuna, all of them. Arjuna has seen the universal form of God. All of those great sages and rishis and everyone who are sitting there in Naimisharanya, as Srimad Bhagavatam is being spoken, there we hear how Krishna expanded himself into multiple forms while performing Rasa Lila. And this is from the external perspective. Those persons who have understanding and realization that Aho bhagyam nanda gopa vrajo kasam yan mitram paramanandam purnam brahma sanatana. That Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead and the supreme absolute truth, Purna Brahma Sanatana. So that he is the supreme God. So from that perspective, they're seeing Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. In the same way that the Vaikuntha Vasis were speaking to Gopakumar. Oh yes, this is an incarnation of Narayan. Not such an important incarnation either. This is everything. So their mood is, Vaikuntha is everything, this is the best, and they just kind of, oh yes, there's some sweet pastime of Narayan. Some of them know about it, but it's not the biggest deal for them, because they're completely saturated in Aishwarya Buddhi, Aishwarya Bhav of Sri Bhagavan Narayan. So from that perspective, many will see, oh look, it appears that there's so many expansions. Yes, this is the same Narayan appearing as Krishna. He is manifesting himself into so many millions of forms to accommodate the millions of gopis. But what about from the Braj perspective? That's a different story. Therefore, we take shelter of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Rasik Shiromani, the crest jewel of Rasik Vaishnavas, a non-different manifestation of Srila Rupa Goswami's heart. And he has explained, and our Guru Varga have understood and explained from the Braj perspective. Because if you're looking at it from the Braj perspective and you're saying that Krishna has expanded himself into millions of forms, then Aishwarya Buddhi, or knowledge of Krishna's opulence and grandeur, would take over. I just want to make sure that...
The electricity's off.
Yes, I know. I'm just hoping it's still going. It should keep going. Someone's at the door as well. Is it still going? So knowledge of Krishna's opulence, knowledge of Bhagavan's majesty. This is prominent in Vaikuntha, Dwarka and other places, but in Vrindavan, all they know is they love Krishna and he loves them. Even if God sometimes works through him. Srimad Narayan is manifesting his potency through. Yes, who is it? Hare Krishna. Sorry, I'm in the middle of a class right now.
Yeah, he's live.
So, and I'm going to be like this for another. I can come to your place afterward.
I came to give this to Sudevi.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Do you want me to come out there?
If you want.
Yeah, because he's live. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Hare Krishna. I don't know if the electricity is still going or not, if the internet is cut off, but I'll be seeing here. Okay. So, in Vrindavan, the Brajavasis do not see Krishna like that. They've heard from Garga Samhita, from Garga Muni. He's like the astrologer of the Brajavasis. That, sometimes Narayan Shakti will manifest through your son and he can perform amazing feats. Oh wow, interesting, okay. And he's got some lines on his hands and feet that have some amazing potency. So when Mother Yashoda is seeing Krishna lifting Govardhan Hill, she's just swelling with pride. How strong is my son? But she's not thinking that he is Bhagavan, that he is God. Otherwise that Aishwarya Buddhi would create a mood of rasabhas, means incompatibility with the bhav of the Brajavasis in their relationship with Krishna. What melts the heart of Krishna so much is that those Brajavasis, they love him so much and their moods are so sweet and simple that they cannot see that he's God. They only see that he is my dear son, my dearest friend, my dearest beloved. They don't see that he is God. Even when he tries to show it sometimes he becomes aware of his godhood, even in Braj. But then, by their love, mugdata. Even in Vrindavan, Krishna forgets I am God. As I told the other day, the very first verse of Sri Damodarashtakam, that person whom death itself is afraid of, Krishna, is running in fear of Mother Yashoda as she's chasing him with a stick because he's been naughty, he broke her pots, he stole butter, he fed it to the monkeys, he fed it to the crows. So she is chasing him and he's running in fear. And then, Rudanta Muhur Netra, Yugmam Brijantam Karamboja Yugmena Shatanka Netram Muhushashakam Patrinekam Kakanta Stitagraivam Damodaram Bhakti Badham Namamishwaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam. Krishna is running in fear. His earrings are shaking, swinging to and fro. Mother Yashoda catches him by the hand and holds her stick up. And he holds his hand up and says, "No Maya, no Maya." She feels compassion toward him and throws her stick down, but he begins crying and rubbing his beautiful lotus eyes with his two lotus hands. And his kajal is smearing as his tears are flowing down. It is said that Ganga and Jamuna are flowing from his eyes. He completely forgets everything else. Forgets that I'm God and I can stop this or anything. The love of his mother is so great that Madhuryata of Vatsalya Prem completely captures him and captivates his heart. And this he prefers more than all of the flowery prayers of the Vedas. That his mother is chasing him with a stick and chastising him. That his friends are wrestling with him and defeating him. That his gopis are chastising him and he's coming after them, after Srimati Radhika, begging, Smaragalakandaram Mamashira Shimandaram Dehi Padapalavamudaram, please be merciful to me and give the mercy of the dust of your lotus feet upon my head. This makes Krishna so happy. So Mugdata comes, transcendental forgetfulness by the potency of Yogamaya. In Vrindavan, there is only transcendental pure love and affection. So Krishna himself engages in intimate loving relationships with his devotees there. As I gave that example previously, there's a king. He has the power to give or take, to give life. You may live, you may die, you should die now. He has this kind of power. Everyone fears him, and they also love and respect and adore him and offer prayers and all of this. But when he retires to his inner quarters in the evening, at that time his wife may chastise him. She's not thinking, "Oh, you're the king." She's thinking, "You are my husband." And she chastises him, "Why are you late? You promised me. It's been 2 weeks straight that you're late. You promised me, it's our anniversary. Did you forget?" And then he's like, "Oh my God, what have I done?" And he arranges for chocolates and roses and everything. Then his children come and jump on him and he plays dinosaur. He's their horse and they're riding on top of him. And at that time he forgets all of his worries as a king. And he's just enjoying the sweet, loving relationships of those who are near and dear to him. Those who do not have this knowledge. They have the knowledge maybe, but it's not clouding their relationship. It's not clouding their relationship. Even the children might know he's the king, but they don't understand what it means. All they know is he's dad, or he's my horse, and he is their horse. And at that moment he's feeling so much bliss, so much pleasure, that he forgets that I am the king. And at that time he's making funny noises like, he's a horse, to give pleasure to his children. In the same way, Vrindavan is that place where Krishna puts down all of his majesty and he becomes the sweet, loving reciprocator of the love and affection of his devotees. If that awesomeness, that majesty, that Aishwarya Bhav were to predominate there, then there would be a complete disruption to his Leela, his pastimes. It would be rasabhas, means an incompatible mixture of the rasas. Aishwarya is also a ras, it's a taste, it's a flavor. But Madhurya ras, this is in Braj. What is symptomatic or the foundation of that Madhurya ras of Vrindavan, the mood of Vrindavan? That is Nara Leela, human-like pastimes. If too much Aishwarya, too much mood of opulence comes in, then the human-like pastimes cannot be maintained, cannot be properly expressed, and it will only disturb the Leela. So Srila Prabhupada writes, I believe in a purport of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, that no pure devotee likes to hear rasabhas, about this incompatible mixture. And he actually used the name Rukmini Raman in this. He said, no pure devotee likes to hear this because it disturbs the heart. Why does it disturb the heart? Because it disturbs Krishna and his pastimes. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could not stay in Vrindavan for long. Because the mood of Krishna would have started to manifest. So he would go to Mathura, and then he would come and he would stay there at Mahaprabhu Baitak. I don't know the name of that tree. Then he would come here to Imlitala and stay here for some time, and then he would go back to Mathura. But he didn't make his permanent residence here. Why? Because Krishna Bhav would have manifested too strongly. So he stayed out. In the same way, we don't try to enforce upon Mahaprabhu that you are Krishna. This disturbs his mood. We worship him, yes, you are Krishna, but more than that, Radha Bhava Duty Subalitam. Radha Chintaniveshena Yasya Kantir Vilopita Shri Krishna Charanam Vande Radha Lingita Vigraham. He is a form of Krishna who is fully embraced, fully absorbed within the mood, the bhava of Srimati Radhika. In that case, you don't say, you are Krishna, you are Krishna. As our Srila Gurudev explained, if an actor is playing a role on a stage and you are watching this amazing drama, and everyone is weeping and crying and feeling so much, and then you see, oh, everyone is feeling so much, maybe I don't want them to feel so much emotion while watching this drama. So at this point, Krishna is playing the role of Srimati Radhika. And he's also weeping and crying and falling on the ground and feeling such intense bhavs. And then you're calling out from the audience, hey, you're not really Radhika, you're Krishna, you're Krishna, you're Krishna, you're not Radha. What will happen? He will look at you and say, hey, shh, don't disturb my mood. And all of the others will say, hey, be quiet. Don't disturb the mood. If you do this again, you're out. Right? Because we don't want to create an incompatible mood. So at that point, even everyone in the audience will be like, why are you disturbing? So in this case, once upon a time, we were at Radha Kunda with our Srila Gurudev. Finally, after doing Govardhan Parikrama, we came to Radha Kund. There we were at the Samadhi place of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. At this place, Srila Gurudev began doing his Mangalacharan, calling out with beautiful prayers in glorification of Srimati Radhika. And he came to this one verse, which is found in Sri Gandharva Prarthanashtakam. Ha Devi Ka Kubara Gadgadaya Devacha. There, Gadgad means the voice is choking up and you cannot even speak. And at that point, he just began weeping and weeping. He was standing there and kind of looking around and just crying and crying and crying. And it was pin drop silence. All of the devotees just sat there waiting for Gurudev's mood to flow as it was naturally flowing. And then what he would speak afterward. Suddenly, someone in the background, one lady from Bengal, she started screaming, "Ah!" crying really loudly. And everyone looked back in upsetted anger. What is she doing? In that moment, Gurudev's mood broke. And he became very stoic. And then he started speaking, but in a very different mood than he was just the moment before. And we all felt this created an incompatibility of the mood, incompatibility of the rasas. So in Vrindavan, it is Krishna's safe place. Krishna's safe place where no one in Vrindavan disturbs the bhav, the moods of love and affection that the Brajavasis and Krishna share. Where Krishna is able to put down his crown, he's able to put down all of his majesty, and he's able to just taste love and affection. So our Gurudev explained that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining and giving the commentary that from the Braj perspective, from the Gopis perspective, even though each one is feeling that Krishna is dancing with me alone, still Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining that it was only one Krishna who was dancing so expertly and so swiftly that he was moving throughout all of the gopis. And each one felt, he's dancing with me alone. So from one perspective, Just like a firebrand, when you put fire on the end of a rope and you swing it in a circle, it appears to be a full circle. But anyone who knows understands that you're swinging a rope. In the same way that it looks like a full circle, so Krishna was moving so swiftly and so intricately that it appeared that there were so many thousands and millions of Krishnas, where in fact there was only one. This is Madhurya Rasa, Narabat Lila, human-like pastimes. But there's no disruption or disturbance in those pastimes. So, Srila Gurudev made this point very clear. This Madhurya is not present in Vaikuntha. So Gop Kumar was not satisfied there. After taking his pulse, Narada Muni said, "It is a great thing that you desire." No, Narada Muni sees him in Vaikuntha. But Gop Kumar is not feeling satisfied there. Everyone else is thinking, what's wrong with him? This is perfection. And it is strange that he's in that place. But to show us, to give us this understanding that we should have one-pointed bhakti, ekantik mood toward our particular Ishtadev, lest we will take millions and trillions of years going through every different phase, in essence wasting so much time before attaining our goal. So our Guru Varga have come. That's why it is so important what Rupa Goswami said. Take shelter of Sajati Ashai Snigdha Sangha, that pure devotee whose intrinsic mood our Atma needs to follow to awaken its intrinsic, eternal, inherent nature. Tishtam Rajetad Anuragi Jananugami. Always in the guidance of that kind of Vaishnava who can awaken our inherent mood. What is the inherent mood of my soul? Any Shuddha Bhakta, any pure Guru, any pure Shiksha Guru, means who has realized their connection with Bhagavan, can awaken or can diagnose and reveal or indicate that to us so that we can become one-pointed. One-pointed. Like Gurudev told Sudevi when he initiated her, immediately, straight from the top, "Oh, this mood, husband and wife with Krishna," he said, "for you it will never be." Straight up, it will never be. How did he know that that's what she was meditating on? But he knew. She never told me that she wanted to marry Krishna, and I was her husband. She never told me. But when he was initiating her, he diagnosed that this was her internal mood, and he told her, "For you, this will never be. It's not your eternal relationship with Krishna. Your eternal beloved is Brajendra Nandan Shyamasundar Krishna of Vrindavan, and your Swamini is Srimati Radhika." Then all of the sadhan, all of the practice that he was giving was for her to attain that particular goal. This kind of guru can diagnose and direct us accordingly. And if our guru does not tell us, like Gopkumar's guru didn't initially, now Narada Muni is telling him, but initially he only gave him a mantra and then disappeared. So if our guru does not tell us and he disappears from this world, then we should cry and pray in the same way as Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur tells us in Guru Ashtakam. Sansara lalidhaloka tranaya karunya ghana ghanatvam praptasya kalyana gunarnavasya vande guru shri charanarandam. Crying and praying for mercy that I am burning in the frying pan of this material world. Krishna, please hear my prayer. Please send your rain of mercy. When Krishna hears that desperate call in anguish for his mercy, his heart cannot help itself but to melt. It takes a form like a cloud. That cloud can come over this blazing forest fire and extinguish that forest fire. That cloud is compared to Sri Guru, Krishna, Kripa, Sri Murti, the mercy form of Krishna. The embodiment, the condensed form of Krishna's mercy is Sri Guru, who comes into our life. And then he begins to nurture us and awaken how we can serve Krishna. This is called Krishna Seva Vasanam. So if our Diksha Guru has departed from this world, we can pray to him and pray to Krishna, and Sri Guru will again manifest in the form of Shiksha Guru, maybe many, and they will help to nourish our deepening of our relationship, our sambandha gyan, the knowledge of our relationship with Krishna and how we can serve Krishna. So Narada Muni detected, taking the pulse of Gopakumar, he said, "It is a great thing that you desire. Therefore, I must help you to understand the higher points of Tattva. For going to Goloka, it is necessary to know all of this." And so last time I was speaking about, I think it was Draupadi. She asked, is it necessary to know all of these things? If we serve Gurudev with our life and soul in the same way that we would serve Krishna, not in exactly the same way, why are we giving our life and soul to Gurudev? So he can make us qualified to serve Krishna. But remember, Gurudev is not the Vishay, he is Ashray. It means he will not take anything for his own enjoyment. He will only channel all of your moods into serving Krishna. If Guru is trying to extract direct enjoyment for himself from his disciples, then he is not Guru, he is Kanguru, he is a bogus person. This we should understand very, very clearly. That their mood is not to extract enjoyment for themselves, but only how to teach us to serve Krishna. So, if we serve Yasya Deve Para Bhaktir Yata Deve Tata Guru Tasyaite Katita Hyarta Prakashante Mahatmanaha. If we serve Gurudev, fully surrender to the lotus feet of Gurudev, then automatically all knowledge of the Shastra, all Tattva Siddhanta will be revealed in our heart. It is the shortcut. It's not about what we know on the outside. We can know thousands and millions of shlokas, and that may not do. In 1996, we were with our Gurudev in Govardhan, and at that time the district officer of Govardhan came there and spoke so beautifully, and at the end he said, Tatvamasi, or something like Aham Narayan, Tum Narayan, like we're all Narayan. Gurudev made him promise that he would never speak like that again. He said, how can you be the district officer of Govardhan and speak these conceptions? How can you be in this position? Promise me you will never speak like this again. And that person had his hands on his ears, which is a mood of apology and supplication. And he was kind of huddling down in front of Gurudev like this. And then when he left, Gurudev warned us, you should be very careful. He said, there are some who are so expert. They can speak Hari Katha, the pastimes of Krishna, in such a beautiful and brilliant way that thousands of people will be sitting in the audience weeping and crying and feeling so much. He said, for every shlok you know, they can tell 100 shloks, and for each of those shloks another 100. And they can run circles around you with Tattva Siddhanta. And in the end, they will say, we are one. It's all nothing, or it's all one. He said, so be very careful. Just because someone may be so expert, it does not mean that they have Krishna Bhakti in their heart. So this is something that we must always be praying for, that may Krishna send me the proper association, the real association. My senses are not able to detect. Gurudev said, if you depend on your material senses, if you depend on your eyes and even your ears, and all of these things, to find out who is the pure devotee, your senses may cheat you. Because we are trying to examine and determine through our material senses what is spiritual and transcendental. But what is transcendental is adhokshaja, beyond the realm of the material senses. So just by that, how can we detect? Even our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he stated that if we want to properly identify a Vaishnava, then we should not try to identify a Vaishnava by how we feel in their association, how much love and affection we feel by their presence, because that could be something for our own enjoyment. But only how much my heart feels affection for the Vaishnava, how much service mood manifests in my heart. There's so many different considerations. So many different considerations. But not for my pleasure. I look at the deities and I think, oh, they're so beautiful. For my pleasure, I take Mahaprashadam because I want to taste and enjoy that food. Even when I'm doing kirtan. Think about it. We come together for kirtan. Am I doing it for Krishna's enjoyment or mine? Am I associating with any great personality because I want this position of being close? That I will bump other persons out of the way so I can sit close and be the one in prominence. No, these kinds of moods come there. We have seen these things. Gurudev said, we have seen these things. So we can test, we can check our pulses and see, what is my nature? Am I doing this for my enjoyment, or is my mood opposite to that? Am I really calling out and praying to Krishna? What is the qualification for attracting such a personality into my life? Srila Govinda Maharaj says, Gurudev says, our sincerity, our tears, our earnest calling, crying out for help. If we have some material consideration, my Guru must be Indian. No, he must be white. No, he must have a beard. No, he must have this color eyes. He must be this tall. He must be slightly less than a certain complexion. He must be more than that. He must wear saffron. He must have a danda. He must not wear saffron. He must not have a danda. My Guru must be a woman. No, my Guru must be a man. We have all of these considerations. Every single one of those considerations is a material consideration. It's all based on what I think Guru should be. And I'm placing the conception of Guru into my little box, my definition of Guru based on mundane considerations. What is the transcendental consideration? Really, it is only according to my earnest crying out for help, for mercy to Krishna. Please be merciful to me. And when you manifest your mercy before me, please mercifully allow me to recognize that that is the manifestation of your mercy. Not as a symptom of my ego and but there should be eternal. It is transcendental. It is meant to love Krishna. It is an eternal servant of Krishna. And I'm going to invest this currency, this most valuable, transcendental, spiritual thing, I'm going to offer it at someone's lotus feet. This is not $1 million or $1 billion. If we had that, we would do our due diligence, we would do research, we would question, we would study, we would read, we would learn about economics. We'd make sure that not just some Joe Schmo from the market comes and says, hey, I'll take your money and I will invest it for you. Okay, here you go. No. If we did that, we will be the fool and immediately we could lose everything. So we should understand, what is our due diligence? What are the qualifications for Guru? What are the qualifications or the disqualifications for those who are not Guru? This we understand. And if we're really sincere, if we're actually serious, then we will do research. We will investigate. We will check. As Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, how do they sleep? How do they eat? How do they walk? How do they talk? Do they have any attraction for anything else in this material world? Are they still bound by material desires? Does any lust manifest in their heart? Is there even one moment in 24 hours when they are not absorbed in Krishna and absorbed in anything else? Then we can choose. Then we can make that discrimination. But the most important thing is the sincerity of our heart and our prayers. Then Sri Guru will manifest to us. And we will know because we will understand that Chaitya Guru, Krishna in our heart, has stepped outside of our heart and is directly communicating with us. Directly understanding what is in my heart. Not just some yogic thing. So many yogis can read your mind. Reading minds. Oh, there's so many yogic mystic powers. What are they? One is to become very small. One is to become very big. One is to become very light. One is to be able to reach into some other realm and pull something from there. It's called vibhuti. You can pull some wealth or something from any other plane through your astral projection. These are yogic siddhis. Any powerful yogi can do these things. But this is not the qualification for Sri Guru. Krishnaika Sharanam, exclusive, one-pointed, nothing else of this world can distract them because they are already engaged in their relationship with Krishna practically. So how can anything else pull them or distract them? Not possible. That person that we are meant to surrender our soul unto, who we can fully trust and give our shraddha to, our faith to. Here you go. I'm offering you my soul so that you will make it qualified, so that you will nurture it, so that one day it will be able to properly serve Radha and Krishna. Very, very interesting, deep perspectives. But if we are sincere, then we will do our due diligence. We will be responsible, and we will understand the qualifications for what is Guru, what is Vaisnava, what is Kenguru, what is false Guru, what is not Vaisnava, or what are the different levels of Vaisnava, whom we should surrender to, whom we should give mercy to, what are the different levels, so that we can give our honor and respect appropriately and accordingly. If we give the same respect to the Uttam, to the Kanishta that we give to the Uttam, this will be an aparad or offense to the Uttam Vaishnava. So these things, if we're really sincere, then we will make an endeavor to understand these things if we want to progress on the path of bhakti. We can understand so many things of this world, right? If we get sick, we have some ailment in our body, maybe cancer sets in. Oh, we'll definitely study about it, we'll learn about it, we'll learn about all of the cures, the modern medical cures and all of the alternative cures. We will know all of the diets, everything. Or if you just fall in love with someone from another country, then you might actually learn their language. I've seen it happen. People will learn their language in a period of weeks because of their absorption and their desire. So it's also a testament to our sincerity and our desire. How much do we really want to love Krishna? How much energy and absorption are we giving to the teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga? And how much are we giving to Maya? You can almost guarantee that most people will know what's going on in this world, what's happening in the US, what's happening on your favorite television show. And you can follow it, season to season. What's happening right now in Ashtakaliya Lila? What pastime is Krishna performing? We don't know. Do we know the details of Govardhan Lila or Damodar Lila? Are we remembering the pastimes of our Gurudev and Guru Varga and Vaishnavas? We're very absorbed in the material world, but what about Krishna Samsara? So if we're always trying to maintain the association of bhaktas, of devotees, and of high-class devotees, high-class being those persons who are fully absorbed in remembering Krishna and his devotees and their relationships and their pastimes, 24 hours a day, kalam nayed, without cessation. If we are associating with those kinds of persons, then we will also develop that mindset by that association. And if we're associating with everything else, then we will develop the mindset of being absorbed in abhinivesha, everything other than Krishna. And Krishna says, whatever state of consciousness one is in at the time of death, they will attain that state without fail. So really our duty to ourselves is to somehow or other come into the association of those persons who help us to remember Krishna always. In bona fide line. In a proper mood. Not just who's helping us to remember Krishna, because there can also be danger there. Our Gurudev said, Sudevi gave him a paper that had so many criticisms of him when she first met him. She just asked, what is this? I don't understand. The first one said, he's speaking too high according to his audience, too high for the adhikar of his audience, the qualification. And he said, it is true. It's true. It's not that they're qualified to hear these things, but they went and heard it from the wrong source. Weren't they instructed not to hear from that source? But they went anyway, and now they have been infected with the wrong moods. So I am again telling them the same thing, but with the proper moods, so that they will understand it according to our line, the line of Bhaktivedanta Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada in this line so they will understand it properly with the proper moods. And this is also an important thing. Not just randomly running here and there, but in anugatya. Anugatya means under proper guidance. So now, oh, my book went upside down. So Narada Muni is telling Gop, he's taking the pulse of Gop Kumar and he's going to tell him higher points of tattva. For going to Golok, it is necessary to know all of these truths. Chapter 5, Bhagavan's incarnations are one. So it is not that we're all one, but Bhagavan's incarnations are one from a certain perspective. Vaikuntha is an expansive land. Included within Vaikuntha are Ayodhya, Jagannath Puri, Dwarka, Mathura, Vrindavan, Govardhan and Radha Kund. So if you see Vaikuntha, this is like the greater transcendental realm. And as you go in deeper and deeper and deeper to the core, it's still all considered Vaikuntha. Rupa Goswami says in the 9th verse of Upadeshamrita, Vaikuntaj janito vara madhupiri tatrapi rasutsavat vrindaranyamudar-pani ramanat tatrapi govardhana radha kundamihapi gokulapate premamrita plavana kuryar asya virajato giritite sevam vivekina kaha. So from Vaikuntha, Vaikuntaj janito vara madhupuri means Brajamandal, the land of sweetness. Mathurapuri, tatrapi rasutsavat vrindaranyam, going deeper, the forest of Vrindavan. Tatrapi Udarapani Ramanat Tatrapi Govardhana. And after that, more deep than Vrindavan, Govardhan. Then after that, more deep than Govardhan, Radha Kunda. Radha Kunda Mihapi Gokulapate Premamrita Plavana. Deeper and deeper and deeper concentrations of transcendental ecstasy and rasa. You will find the most deep at Sri Radha Kunda. This is the words of Rupa Goswami. So all of it is considered within greater Vaikuntha, but then going deeper and deeper and deeper, you will come to Vrindavan, Govardhan, Radha Kunda. Residing there is not only Krishna, but, now he's talking about Vaikuntha, but millions and millions of incarnations of Bhagavan. In the 4 yugas, in a manvantar, in the 2 50-year segments of Brahma's life. So Brahma's life is 100 of his years. So 2 50-year segments. Bhagavan descends in some form or other. Upon his devotees' attainment of perfection, according to their own specific devotional sentiment, they go to live with him in a particular section of Vaikuntha, taking darshan of their favorite Lord and serving him there. So again, Gurudeva is establishing, according to one's own specific devotional sentiment, upon the attainment of perfection of any devotee, they will go to live with their particular Ishtadev, their particular form of the Lord that they have their intrinsic eternal relationship with. The sun is reflected in anything that acts as a mirror. So these days you may have seen, I saw it when we were driving, my grandmother lived in Las Vegas. So we would drive from Los Angeles to Las Vegas and we would do some programs there as well. There were these big solar power fields, thousands and thousands of mirrors. And they would collect the sunlight and bounce that sunlight onto a tower. And that tower would glow with the light of the sun and heat up. And the water inside would create high pressure steam. So every single one of those mirrors was able to capture and reflect the light of the sun, independently of each other and individually. The sun is reflected in anything that acts as a mirror, but the sun and the reflection are not one. None of those mirrors can claim to be the sun, but they are reflecting the sun. Bimba means the sun, and pratibimba means its reflection, which shines in another world. The sun is the sun. And what we see of the sun, we may see the sun, but we ourselves are not touching the sun. We are receiving the light of the sun. the heat of the sun. Those mirrors are reflecting the light and heat of the sun, but that is not the same as the sun. They are not one, but there is some similarity between them. Unlike the sun, however, there are many, many incarnations of the Lord. Unlike the sun, however, there are many, many incarnations of the Lord. Each and every incarnation is directly Bhagavan himself. How amazing is that? And all are eternal, spiritually conscious and blissful. Satchit Ananda. So the verse in Brahma Samhita says, Deepachireva hidasantaram abhyupete deepayate. Just like one candle lights another, lights another, lights another, and you have thousands and millions and trillions of candles, yet fire is fire. In the same way, each manifestation of Bhagavan is potent on their own merit. But yet, fire is fire. So in this way, even though there may be millions of candles, still fire is one. In Vaikuntha, Bhagavan is not situated in Kaya Vyuha expansions. Instead, Kaya Vyuha, remember, expanding oneself in so many different equal forms. Bhagavan is not situated in Kaya Vyuha expansions. Instead, in qualitative oneness, means oneness in quality, he is situated in many different forms for fulfilling the desires of his devotees. So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita confirms this. Ye yata mam prapadyante tangstataiva bhajamyaham. As one approaches me, with whatever mood or love and affection they approach me, or maybe not love and affection, maybe they want to kill him, or they are approaching him out of fear. But however one approaches him, he reciprocates accordingly. So in Vaikuntha, because there's no desire to kill the Lord, no fear of the Lord, he's also reciprocating according to the moods of love and affection of his devotees. In the Ramayana and other scriptures, it is said that Bhagavan is one. And according to the form for which the devotee is praying, he assumes an incarnation as either Nrsimha avatar, Kurma avatar, Vaman avatar, Hayagriva avatar, or so many incarnations. Therefore, in that bhajan by Jayadev Goswami, Pralaya Payodhi Jale Drittavan Sivedam, Vihita Vihitra Charitramakedam, Keshav Dritta Meena Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Keshav Dritta Kurma Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Keshav Dritta Varaha Rupa, Keshav Dritta Narasingha Rupa, Keshav Dritta Vamana Rupa, Rama Sharira, one after another. But what is the prelude? Keshava Dritta. Keshava, Krishna himself, has manifested in all of these different forms. So here we see there is one. What is that one supreme absolute truth known as? Advaigyan Paratattva, the supreme non-dual absolute truth. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Sanatan Goswami, Krishna Swarup Vichar Shuno Sanatan Advaigyan Tattva Braje Brajendra Nandan. Oh Sanatan, listen, the reality, the truth about Krishna's Swarup, about his nature. Advaigyan Tattva, the supreme non-dual absolute truth, is none other than Vrindavan's son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna. Braje Brajendra Nandan. That is the supreme non-dual absolute truth, the original source of everything. Ete Changsakala Pungsa Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. All of these avatars are there, but Krishna himself is Swayam Bhagavan, the supreme absolute truth. And then again, this is told in Brahma Samhita, Ram Adi Murti Shukalan Yamena Tishtan Nanavataram Akarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramapumanyo Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Ram in all other forms, avatar, they are his kala, they are like phases, they are his manifestations for performing any kind of pastimes to reciprocate with the moods of his loving devotees. Ram Adi Murti. But Krishna Swayam, Krishna himself, is the supreme source of all of that. And that is indicated again in the very first verse of Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. That Krishna, Govinda, is the supreme controller, the original source of everything. There is no one before him. He is the origin, and he is the prime cause of all other causes. So if anything could have a cause, of anything that can have a cause, he is the original cause of anything else. Sarva Karana Karanam. This is Krishna. So he has his speciality. So here, he assumes an incarnation. So many are there. Bhagavan can come in many forms. Some say that originally, Bhagavan has no form. Okay. I'll tell you why I'm laughing right now. We're almost finished here. Bhagavan can come in many forms. Some say that originally Bhagavan has no form, and that when anyone of this world calls him, then according to that person's particular sentiment, he takes a corresponding form and appears in this world. But this idea is incorrect. So many years ago we were in Holland, the Holy Land, and it was supposed to be our programs, and then Srimati Didi showed up. So naturally, because she's so much senior to us, she's received so much instruction from Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj. She's had darshan of Srila Param Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshwar Goswami Maharaj, and she's doing intense bhajan. We were so happy. Please, you give the program. So we were all sitting there, and then another Gaudiya Math sannyasi came from some Gaudiya Math. And so, because he's in sannyasi vesh and he had a danda like this, then she also gave the position to him. So we're all there, all the devotees are there. And this sannyasi who was sitting there actually tried to prove, or tried to make the point, that actually Bhagavan is just Nirvishesh Brahm. Meaning he has no form, no qualities, no speciality. But according to the nature of the devotee, then he manifests accordingly. And you should have heard Didi, why is he saying? And everyone, even the new people in the room were going, what's he saying? This sounds so off. It sounds off. And we began to question him on this. Why are you speaking these things? This is not in line with our Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. And here we have direct confirmation. Who is saying this? That actually he is formless, no form. But when anyone of this world calls him, then according to that person's particular sentiment, he takes a corresponding form and appears in this world. But that idea is incorrect. It means it is wrong. It is not correct. All of his forms are real and eternal. So all of these forms, Krishna's form in Vaikuntha as Narayan is a real eternal form. Krishna's form in transcendental Aprakat Ayodhya as Sri Ram is eternal and real. Krishna's form in all of the different avatars in transcendental Vaikuntha are all eternal and real. Krishna himself is eternal and real. So all of his forms are real and eternal. And when devotees call him by the name of a specific form, when they call him by a name of a specific form, some will call him Ram. Hanuman would call Ram. Others who are calling Ram, their mood may be toward Krishna. So when they're calling Ram, their bhav is, this Ram means Radharaman. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This means Radhika, Radharaman, Radhika Ramana. This is the meaning of Mahamantra for those whose eternal beloveds are Radha and Krishna, who are meant to serve him eternally. So all of his forms are real and eternal, and when devotees call him by the name of a specific form, then in that very form he comes. All the scriptures declare this, and they are fully authoritative due to being completely free from any defect. So I will stop here. And there's a quick question from Devaki, I just noticed. Forgive me. What I don't understand is Madhurya is not present in Vaikuntha. But then goes on to say that Vrindavan, Govardhan and Radhakund are situated in Vaikuntha and Madhurya is present there. Good question. Very good question. So there's a...
General.
You're from England, so you know there's London. London is a big, big city with so many different sections within it. And within London, there's a proper section, I believe, that's known as London. I know there is in Los Angeles. There's Greater Los Angeles, then there's also Los Angeles. Within, there's actually a zip code or a pin code with the name Los Angeles. But there's also Westwood, Century City, Culver City, Santa Monica, Venice. There's so many different areas of Los Angeles within Greater Los Angeles. So there's Greater Vaikuntha. But there's a realm of Vaikuntha, you can consider it the outer ring, if you want to call it that. The outer ring of Vaikuntha is Aishwarya Dham. And as you go more in, you will see that there is also Aishwarya Dham as a servant of Sri Ram in that ring. And you go deeper, and within that ring, you will see Dwarka. It's more intimate. Then you go deeper. Mathura is there. More intimate. Then you come to Vrindavan. Madhupuri. Brajamandal. Within Brajamandal there's Vrindavan. You go deeper. Within Vrindavan is Govardhan. You go deeper within that is Radhakund. So in the Greater Vaikuntha, in that ring, you will say that is dominated by Aishwarya, or the mood of opulence. But as you go deeper and deeper and deeper, although it's considered to be within Greater Vaikuntha, that is considered to be Madhurya Dham. Another way of seeing it is, you know when you see the eclipse, something is crossing over the sun. This is what they say. But this is how science understands it. So the moon is crossing between the earth and the sun. Then you only see the ring, the outer ring. So in that case, there's something there. It looks like it's completely flat or it's completely superimposed, but actually they are so far away from each other. Actually, the moods of Braj are millions of miles away from, billions and trillions of miles away from the Aishwarya Bhav. So from one perspective, it looks like it's inside, but if you look at it like that, you can have many superimpositions. Means you have one planet, another one in front of that, another one in front of that, another one, another one, another one. So you will see, it looks like it's inside Vaikuntha. Different perspectives. We should understand that yes, all of the transcendental realm is known as Vaikuntha, but also within this concept, there is actually a realm within the transcendental realm known as Vaikuntha, specifically, and that is Aishwarya Dham. And there is a realm within the transcendental realm, which is also considered within Vaikuntha, but it is not the realm of Aishwarya or opulence. It is the realm of Madhurya, and that is known as Brajamandal or Vrindavan. So there's so many different perspectives. As our Srila Gurudev has explained in so many different cases, if we want to truly be able to understand these concepts properly, because they are actually transcendental, technically they're beyond the realm of the material mind and intelligence, and he has said on many occasions that one should go deep into taking shelter of Sri Harinam Prabhu. And through Nam Bhajan, all of these divine understandings and revelations will be manifest, will be awakened within us. So he said some ideas being given for the time being, so that we can kind of wrap our head around, but in reality, it is much more amazing than you could ever imagine with your material mind and intelligence. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
So thank you very much for being with us today. There was a request, Shashank Prabhu, can you please post where you're posting these videos on YouTube? Some devotees missed some and they wanted to go back and see those. So if you can please do that, we'd really appreciate it. And so we look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Also, I apologize, I saw some more questions came and I will go over them and answer what I might be able to tomorrow. Some of them I might be able to answer. I apologize for not answering it today. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Dandavat pranam, Radhe Radhe, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe,
Radhe Radhe.